You could reasonably say Bitcoin is the only true category killer to come out of the crypto space. The others are unicorns or venture capital investments right now.
Michael Saylor is an American entrepreneur, executive, and author. In 1989, Saylor combined his passions for technology, business, and the use of computer simulations to launch MicroStrategy, which went public in 1998. That company is now a global leader in enterprise analytics and mobility software, serving thousands of organizations around the world. Joining me to discuss his view on investments is Michael Saylor. Michael, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Now, as MicroStrategy has grown, so too has your reputation as an entrepreneur. Given the shakeup we're seeing in the world today, what opportunities are looking attractive to you?
My macroeconomic view is that the monetary supply is going to expand by about 15% a year for the next 3 to 4 years. So we're looking for some kind of asset inflation hedge. And your choices are typically gold or big tech. Everybody knows that bonds aren't going to yield enough to cover 15%. If you had a company that was growing its cash flows in excess of 15%, you might keep up with that. But big tech is a pretty crowded trade right now, and it doesn't look like their cash flows are going to grow by more than 15%. And that takes you to gold, which will, in theory, it's scarce, but the gold miners are making more and there's counterparty risks. So it's an old idea. The best idea, I think, right now is Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's a digital monetary network that has all the scarcity, more scarcity than gold, but the upside of big tech. If you rewound the clock back 10 years and you were to go buy Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google about a decade ago.
Now, while on Bitcoin, MicroStrategy just in fact made a $425 million Bitcoin acquisition. Why do you think that people should be excited and investors should be excited over Bitcoin? And where do you predict the price is heading?
Well, if you had 500 million you were sitting in cash, you know it's going to be debased by 10 to 15% a year. So it makes sense to move it into something that isn't getting debased. That's why I think investors should be excited about it. Bitcoin hasn't been well understood for the past decade, and it's only this year that large institutions are taking a position in it, and it's emerging as the digital gold. And so the next decade is going to be a lot better decade for Bitcoin than the last decade. As for predictions as to the price, I don't know exactly in the near term where the price will move. But what I'm sure of is that central bankers will print more currency in just about in every country on earth. And as they print more currency, it's going to have to find its way into an asset. And it's not going to go to bonds because they're yielding 0%. So it's going to have to go either to equity or to gold or to Bitcoin.
Well, many who may be considering Bitcoin for the first time might ask, why not other cryptocurrencies? So are you spreading any of your investment dollars here, or is it all in for Bitcoin?
Look, Bitcoin is the winner of the crypto wars. There were 6,500 attempts to do this, and only one of them has worked in an indisputable fashion. To declare the victor, it has to be more than 100 billion in market cap, and Bitcoin is 200 billion in market cap. It's 50 times bigger than the next closest thing that's trying to be what it is. There are some other cryptos that are interesting, but they're pursuing a different value proposition, like privacy or stable coins or a world computer. These are not competitive to digital gold. And so you could reasonably say Bitcoin is the only true category killer to come out of the crypto space. The others are unicorns or venture capital investments right now.
Okay, Michael, and while on investments, you wrote in The Mobile Wave to find a digital dominant network that dematerializes some fundamental thing. Now, what examples can you give us of companies doing exactly that now? You mentioned big tech before. Who's looking like a good investment?
Apple dematerialized everything you could hold in your hand, and it was worth $2 trillion. Facebook dematerialized social energy. Google dematerialized libraries, information, and video. These are all trillion-dollar ideas. If you'd invested in them a decade ago, it was a good idea. If you look today, who's doing this? Well, Bitcoin is a dematerialized monetary network, and it's still early on in its life cycle. It's the beginning of the S curve. And the best time to invest in anything is when it's big enough to be sure it's going to work. And that means more than $100 billion and dominant in its industry. And when it's small enough that everybody else doesn't understand it and the majority of the people aren't quite sure what is that thing. And so Bitcoin's definitely, I think, the most compelling of those digital monetary networks that are moving into their early adolescence.
Okay, and for the everyday investor, would you be saying to them to go out and to buy a piece of a Bitcoin, to save up for a full Bitcoin, or perhaps look at alternatives such as investing in listed companies with a focus on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think every investor's got to make their own decisions, but traditionally people have viewed it as a hedge, highly volatile. I'll put a small percentage in, I might lose it all. And that was the view in the first decade. I think as we go into the second decade of Bitcoin's lifestyle or life cycle, people are going to view it more as digital gold. It's a safe haven asset. So you kind of ask the question, what percentage of your assets do you want to put in a safe haven where it won't be debased and it won't be inflated away? And the rest, you bet on companies that you believe in if you want more risk, and or you put it into luxury assets, paintings and real estate that'll make you happy.
Absolutely. And look, finally, Michael, with the US election around the corner, who's your pick for emerging as the next president? And how will this move markets and Bitcoin?
I can't be sure who will win. I am sure that regardless of who wins, the government's going to run a deficit. They're going to print more fiat currency. Assets are going to continue to inflate, and investors are going to need to choose the appropriate anti-inflationary or deflationary hedge. That's why I think Bitcoin is a great idea at this point in time.
Very well said. Well, Michael, thank you so much for your insights today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lado.
And thank you for watching. Now, if you like what you see, like and share the video, subscribe to TCN TV and drop us a comment. Tell us who you would like to see next and what you would like me to ask them. Or if you're an investor, send us an email so we can keep you in the loop with the latest ideas to empower.